It's time for the Unscripted Push with DeVonnda Chantel and Ebony S. Bailey. Are you ready to live your best unscripted life? We're ready to jump right into the conversation. Hi, my name is Ebony S. Bailey.
And I'm DeVonnda Chantel.
And we are here on part 2 of our Paris edition of the Unscripted Push Podcast.
You didn't do it right. The Unscripted Push Podcast. You got to push.
Oh, get it. Oh, all of that.
Oh, I'm bad. Sorry about that.
Yeah. All of that.
I'm feeling it.
You feeling all of that. Yes. We are here. I mean, we were trying to record one episode, and then she tried to tell me off at the end of the last episode, like we weren't supposed to just have this conversation separately. So we just decided to have it record the second episode here
and talk about it.
Yeah, because we were pretty much recording 2 episodes, at least 2 episodes at a time. Mm-hmm. So let's gonna knock it out in Paris. Paris. Oui, croissants and tea. Whoa. She's
the Austin Powers. Y'all remember that? What the Austin Powers? Probably so.
It was. Well, we were talking about the end at people pleasing.
Ooh.
Sometimes you don't realize you do it, and you are. I didn't realize that was such an issue for me until I found out later in last year that I did do that. And that was coming up on some of the anxiety that I was carrying. So you may feel like this episode is not for you. Until you realize it is. Mm-hmm. Because that's in a little bit of all of us. Even some of the most confident people don't realize that they do have a level of people pleasing and how it affects you and what it causes you not to do. Because sometimes we don't move because we're wondering how someone else will receive it. Or my idea may be this, but does that idea make sense?
Wow.
Or will it be received by the people that are around me? Or if my parents will like it, is my church gonna like it? Will my spouse like it? And because of that, you may do it, but you may not do it fully because you're trying. You change it. You water it down a little bit to make it more palatable for the people around you, but I've been told so many times that partial obedience is not obedience.
Oh, that's good.
So if God tells you to do something, you got to do it the way He gave it to you. And so if you pay attention to the fact that you are a people pleaser, you have to take extra care when you are implementing things. And you have to have this whole strong and courageous situation that I'm working with to do things that are uncomfortable or may ruffle feathers around you. That was one of the points that I said in my presentation for the speech this week of my 5 steps. One of the things is your voice will ruffle feathers, but don't stop speaking.
Wow.
It takes courage to do that, though. Because it could potentially leave you alone.
And even with people pleasing, and like she said, you can be a confident person. My people pleasing was more so towards my family. And I didn't worry about like friends or people outside or different things like that.
Because remember we talked about her having a machete.
That didn't bother me. I think because, you know how they say the underdog of the family always win. I was always the underdog, and the people don't know that, but my cousins and everybody else was so smart, like they could just do anything. I always had to work 10 times harder. My cousin could take a test and not even study. That was never my story. I always had to study. I always had to work hard. So the things that I did were never good enough. And I was fighting for my family's approval and attention and different things like that on a lot of the things that I did because they didn't expect me to be who I am. Now I'm the most successful out of my cousins or out of my family, but I still feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. I went to school, got a degree, I went and got a master's. It was a conversation that my great uncle had, bless his soul, with my aunt, and he had made a statement, is that an accredited school? And I was just like, I just went to get my master's. And you downplaying my school that I actually went to. Not that, oh, my great niece went to school, got her master's. It was more so, is the school accredited? So it was like I was never good enough for my family until I got to the point where I was just like, now my mom, she's always been like, think that I'm just the top of the world, which has been, amazing. But she had told me, she was like, Mom, who are they that you have to prove yourself to them? And we had a really deep conversation, and I was just like, I can't keep trying to prove myself or do things to get their approval and attention. And I had to learn, do what makes you happy. Be who you are. And I say that all the time, and I talk about that all the time. And the reason why I'm so strong-minded when it comes about being who you are, because people are going to talk regardless. You can be the most amazing person in the world. And I talk about, Beyonce. Beyonce, everybody loves, Beyonce. There's some people that don't like her. There's some people that think that she, Illuminati or whatever they say about her. But it still doesn't take the fact from her gift and how she keeps showing up and how she does. And she doesn't care.
And she creates
what other people think, because they're going to talk about you regardless, whether you're trying to be somebody you're not, or whether you're trying to be who you are, or whatever you're trying to do. Somebody is going to always find something to say about you. And you could be the nicest person in the world. And they can say, but I ain't like the way she looked at that person over there. You don't know what was on her mind that day. So people are going to always have things to say. People might not think you good enough, but you're just not called to those people.
Right. So for me, when I realized that I was, and y'all, I'm working on my first chip. I know y'all heard me say that. It's like, some people go to AA. I'm working on my first people-pleasing chip. I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm working on it because I'm aware. I would overcompensate. I would do the most to
be accepted.
Not necessarily be accepted, but if you're my friend, I want to make sure you, how do I say it? Not necessarily, I would overdo it. Like
overdo the friendship?
Overdo my actions toward it. So for example, if we're doing something and it's a birthday or whatever, or it's a holiday or whatever, and I know what I can really afford. And I know that you're going to get me a gift that is this, and I'm like, okay, I got to match that. And it may put me at a deficit because I am trying to make sure that you see that I value you the same amount, if not more. If I am exhausted and I really don't have the mental capacity or the emotional space or anything, and I know that you're having a hard time, and I am not the only person that's in your world, but I know that I act as if I am. So I have to be the one to make you feel better, even though I am actually feeling worse. And I've given you all that I had, and I had nothing left afterwards. And you're pulling on me. And so that reminds me of the cup, the example of the cup, and how I gave them two at your show, your show. Hey, you about to have a show. At your event. With the dark cup and the clear cup. And I asked the people that chose the dark cup to say why they did. And one of the ladies said it was because she didn't want them people to see what was in her cup. Ooh. And so I'm like, okay, so you didn't want me to see how full you were, but now I don't know how full your cup is, so I'm just gonna keep asking because I know that you can deliver. So I'm gonna keep asking of you, and now I'm pulling from what's already not in your cup. And so that was me. I was low. My cup was low, and I was receiving all the demands from everyone else, and I still followed through, even though I didn't really have it, because I wanted you to see me a certain way. And so I was like, okay, Ebony, that's not healthy. That's why you are stressed. That's why you are dealing with anxiety and you never really dealt with it before. That's why you are like to the point that your breathing changes and stuff like that's why you were dealing with that stuff, because you're doing too much.
Yeah.
And you are not the fixer of everyone else's problems. And you are not God. First of all, like it can still be done if you don't do it. And so I had to learn to back off and to choose me. Like I had to learn to choose me. And did it bother me? Yeah. Because even in conversation, sometimes you can say something and the people pleasing side of me, if I feel like you didn't receive it the right way, I want to try to explain you to my understanding. To understanding how I was or what I meant when I said it. And so I'm still going, trying to make you see it the way I do. And it may never happen. And I had to learn, Ebony, you gotta let stuff rest. You can't fix it. Like everybody has different vision. If you wear glasses, all the prescriptions are different. So what lens you're seeing out of, I may not see out of it that way. And it doesn't mean that we're not looking at the same thing. But at that point, I cannot convince you if you don't want to be convinced. And the people pleasing side of me was trying to force feed people things, and it was too much.
And then a lot of people don't know, with people pleasing, it's something that you put on yourself as well. It's not, it depends on the people around you. It's not something that they may expect, which is why I do friendship evaluations, or why I get to know my friends, because of the simple fact how you talked about birthdays and trying to match what they give you. It may be that they think that you would want that, but they may want something different. Like I have a girlfriend that just like art fixtures from the Goodwill. But if I'm throwing money at her, she's like, why you give me money? But if I gave her an art fixture that I found at the Goodwill, or found a sentimental piece for her, she would love that. But when you're people pleasing, you're like, she gave me this, so I gotta match this. And she could be like, well, thank you, but I didn't even really want that. But in your head, you thinking like, I just have to overexert because she overexerted for me. But you have to learn people and what it is that they actually and truly want, because everybody may not want that, or everybody may not need that, from you, and you're pouring into different people and they're just not receiving it because they don't really need it,
Yeah, I have the way I was set up in general. I have a sister, and then I have both of my parents are still living.
I thought you about to say brother. I was about to say, wait a minute, Mom, Dad, where did brother come from? I said, you want to reveal something on the show?
I have a sister
with same mom and dad,
and they're married. Yes, same mommy and daddy. And we grew up in New York, right? Around my mom's family, and my dad has had a brother. Max passed away, but he had a brother, and he lived in North Carolina, but we were all in New York. And so we were around a lot. Like my mom has 7 of them, 5 girls, 2 boys. And from my younger years, we would do a lot with our cousins. Like, oh my gosh, we did so much with my mom's side of the family. And I would watch my aunts that have all different temperaments, Lord Jesus, all the different temperaments interact with one another. And one of the things that I noticed that was not prevalent is they are not nobody's people pleaser. Oh my gosh. Whatever they think about, however they feel, you gonna hear it. I don't know why I didn't pick that up. I didn't pick up the voice my opinion. I didn't do that. My mother, vocal. She says we don't hear everything she gonna say that you think.
But that's what I wanted to ask you. Where does that?
I don't know.
Because I know your family, like not your. I know some of your family, but I know your mom.
I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where it trickled in. I don't know if it's a need for acceptance. I know that I don't handle rejection well. And I said to not be rejected, maybe that's why. I overcompensated, especially when I established relationships. Like maybe that's what it is, because I want you to know I value you so much that I may do too much, or I may go above and beyond, and that to me could be where that came from, because nobody likes rejection. Nobody likes that, but I know that it hits me in a sensitive space if I build a relationship with someone. So it could be paralyzing, you know what I mean? And so if I can help you understand what I feel, then maybe you won't detach, or maybe you won't reject.
Do you feel it's because you always felt misunderstood and like people didn't understand you?
I felt like people don't take the time to get to know me.
Oh, they don't.
I feel like they know versions of me, but it's not many people that could actually tell me.
Do you think you have allowed people to know you?
I think the ones that have sought out to get to know me, yes. People, I'm telling you, I don't know if y'all watched the preview of this, and we put out a little teaser, how she said people think I'm always somewhere, and she started, I said that people think I'm somewhere praying and sitting on the cloud, and she was like, yeah, like she know all the Bible verses.
I wish I would have caught her doing the stanky leg yesterday, y'all. You want to show the people? I can't do it because she was picking on me.
Where were we at?
In
H&M.
It won't even. It was a random song. It won't even a song we do. Something in French, I think it was. And then all of a sudden she just break out, and I'm dancing. Like, oh, I'm trying to. Y'all know I ain't got no rhythm.
Well, I think I started dancing because you started doing something. It wasn't dancing.
Talking to the mannequin.
It won't dance. You were talking to the mannequin. She didn't like the outfit that the mannequin had on, and she was asking the mannequin if they liked it.
Because I know they couldn't have liked when that woman put that on them. Even though they can't speak for themselves, She was trying to be the American mannequin whisperer.
I'm surprised she didn't try to undress them.
I know they did. I felt they just randomly said, I got a job to do. Let me just throw something on these people. These mannequins. They not people, but mannequins.
But that's I think people don't. So the ones that have taken the time to get to know me, and I'm not perfect. I do have moments. Ebony is moody. I'm much better than I used to be, because I used to be real bad. I'm much better. I'm moody and emotional.
Yeah.
But now, instead of me letting the emotion stay in, I tell people how I feel.
Which is good.
And then when people don't want to listen to how I feel, or we don't have a conversation, it almost makes you retreat back to the way I was, because I can't.
What did I do?
I can't have the conversation. But I have to learn, even through Paris, when we were talking about that, like how stuff is out of your control and you can't fix it. And if it doesn't, you have to learn to maneuver. And doesn't mean anything different. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. No, it doesn't. But you still move on, and you still have still have purpose to perform. Like if God gives you a mandate to do something, you do it. And so with the side of the people pleasing that I'm realizing that I'm trying to work on my first chip for, is the piece where over-explaining myself.
Oh yes, when we first became friends, I was like, why are you telling me all that?
like over-explaining, because the people that took the time to get to know me, they already know, like, my character is not challenged in that way, or they do know I have a silly side. Like I like to laugh. I really do. I'm pretty sarcastic.
Very.
It comes from my family. Like, y'all don't know that my daddy's sarcastic, but he is one of the most sarcastic people, and it is hilarious. Okay, you can say it with a straight face.
Him and Crystal are just alike. They do the sarcastic, like underhanded sarcasm. So you will be busting out laughing, and they are both like mellow
stone
people.
Face.
So people will look at you like, what that girl laughing at? And they like, do.
My mom said, y'all think it's me, it's him. But that side is only let out around certain people. And I've learned that watching my dad, like, and my mom, I've watched them even in relationships with other people. They have a very small dot of friendships. Dot. And I didn't understand that. My mom used to talk about how she's quick to say, okay, this is not for me now, and she can switch. And I'm like, how does she do it so fast? Like, she, like, did you bleed a little bit? Like when you got cut, I don't understand it. And I mean, she could deal with it a different way because our temperaments are different. She's extroverted, but she is an extroverted introvert. So she does retreat too. My dad is very introverted. And I picked that up from him.
He's so funny.
And he's so introspective. Like that's where my exploring of my mind comes from. Like with my dad, when it comes to that stuff, like how he's all in, call him Bible MapQuest, how he's all in the Word. Like that's where that came from. Because I would ask him random questions. He would give me Bibles to read it out of or tell me where to find it. And so I don't know where I haven't seen relationships go south really because I didn't see that with them. So I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was maybe interactions that I just can't recall in like elementary school or in middle school or whatever. The first time I remember having a moment was in high school when it was a group of girls and I don't know, hey y'all might be watching. They did a singing group.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, why wasn't I included? And I didn't understand it. And my feelings was hurt a little bit. But then I said, okay, whatever. And it's like, okay, that's kind of odd. I went through those moments. And then I moved on I got past that, but then I had a solid friend group in high school. Like, we hung tight. Like we were together. If I would have put up pictures, we were always bowling. They were at my house, all us piled on one couch. Like all the things my house was the hangout spot. So I had the high school group. Went to college, everybody dispersed. So I never had that group again. Become an adult, I have all these individual relationships, never really a group. So I don't know if it's me salvaging relationships, that connection, because I have to establish it in different places. I don't know if it's that. And then I'm so used to you, I've invested so much time, I don't want to let that go away. So I try to help you see that I'm a good person. I'm a good friend. I'm good. Like, I really do care. I really will go above and beyond. I do that. And so then I'm like, girl, stop it. Stop it. You don't have to convince people of your worth. If they don't see it and you have to explain it to them, then those are not the people that you need up close. Those are not the people that need to be sitting in a hotel room together, having a conversation and you being vulnerable with. I heard about village and community. You know what I mean? Okay, where is that? I heard Keisha say that. So I heard her talk about community and village. And it was a good analogy for me because sometimes we do let people into our village that are just really a part of the community. Not that anything's wrong with the community, but your village is who you would allow in your space, who you would allow in your rooms and in all that stuff. So I'm working on how to let go and as far as trying to over explain myself. Like I'm really working on that part because I just want you to understand. Because I do. I just want everybody to understand. Like you said, I'm a teacher. So like by trade, like everything I do is in demonstration. So maybe that's why I give like I do. Learning about me. So when Crystal be telling me, Ebony, you're doing too much, it's because like I that's a demonstration of my heart. And I said, Ebony, the people that truly love you, you don't have to
do all that.
You don't have to kill yourself for them to realize you love them or that you'll show up for them. So
I don't think you love me.
Huh?
Just play. I just had to throw her off.
She gets on my nerves.
But yeah, what would you say for, I'm thinking as you're talking about this, like for people that's watching that may be dealing with people pleasing, like what are the steps or what can you do to work on that or to actually get out of that? And I was sitting here thinking, like, what did I do besides realizing, like, you're never going to please anybody. I know that I started making sure that I was confident in myself. I build up myself enough to know that the things that I'm doing in life is for me and not for other people, and learn to let people love you for who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You said steps. I can't give you steps. I told you I'm working on my first chip. So the first thing for me was acknowledging it. Like, legit. Mm-hmm. I know I'm joking about it, but I thought about the steps of AA. Mm-hmm. The first thing you do, you have to acknowledge that that's an issue. Because if you don't know that it's an issue, you keep going on as if it is not. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was acknowledging, Ebony, you have an issue with that. And so now I'm on the search to figuring out where it came from. Because I can't pinpoint the time. Like, I don't know when, because I was like, I can't go back to being a child. It's not that I wasn't loved. It's not that I wasn't supported by my family. It wasn't that I saw it around me. It wasn't that, like, I found the places it wasn't, you know, so I'm like, I know it didn't stem from that. I never had to overextend myself with my family for them to show up for me. My family's tight-knit. Yeah. So, and then two, it doesn't even, and this is the other side of it, when you realize that you are, it doesn't mean that the people in your life haven't shown you love and shown you grace and shown you support, and it has no reflection on them. It's how you process stuff. And so that's why being in therapy is something that helps, because the questions that they can ask can kind of like provoke you to start thinking and digging deeper and sitting in emotions that you don't really want to experience. But when you sit there, you can kind of work through them. Or you also then realize, oh my gosh, I do that. Mm-hmm. Whoa, that might be why people do that.
And sitting here thinking as you talking, and you are such a words person.
I am.
So it could be probably don't even remember. It could be something that somebody said to you, and then it affected you in some type of way, and you just start changing. You know what I'm saying? Because even like when I was a little girl or in younger years, you start to remember some things. Even, you know, my therapist had pinpointed something that happened at 7 years old, like that caused me to, you know, be so angry. And I'm just like, where did this come from? I'm angry all the time about certain stuff. But it could be that surroundings or scenarios or people. It doesn't have to necessarily be your family, but it could be something that somebody said.
I think it's somewhere in rejection. I honestly think there was a point that I was rejected at some point by someone that I really cared about, and I don't know who it was. There was a friend that I had, and I talked about, you know, one of the friends that I had when I was in high school and elementary school it was middle school. And I was like, that was the very first relationship that went away, and I don't understand what happened. Mm-hmm. Like, I still don't know to this day what happened with her. And we were so close, like all the way up until Isaiah was born. So I have a 20-year-old. So up until then, right before I got married, she totally disappeared. I asked her to be in my wedding, and after that point, no more. I heard nothing else from her. And that hurt my heart, like, because the two of us were, and she was so sound, like it was the fact that it wasn't even a breakup, like I don't like you no more, girl. It was none of that. She totally just disappeared. Like, nobody knows what happened to her. And I knew she was alive, but I could not contact her. And I don't know if that hurt, because when I say close, like my family, we spent so much time together. And I don't know what happened. And I don't know if that rejection that left me with words unspoken makes me want to make sure I clarify in all my relationships where things are or how I feel, because I never got to do that. That might be it. Oh my gosh, I'm about to cry.
I think that's it. As you're talking, and the reason why I said that is because being your friend and knowing who you are, because you didn't get a chance to prove to her, like, I'm a good friend. What did I do? Why did you do that? Like, why did you leave me? I think with friendships after that and people after that, you started to try to make sure that they understood that you were a good friend, so they didn't leave you. Oh my God, here we go. Here we go.
I never figured that out.
Yeah.
until sitting here talking about it, I never.
That's exactly what it is. Because you do that to prove to people like I'm a good friend, so they won't leave or they won't, it's not. So you want people to know it's not you. It's not because of you. You know what I'm saying? So I said I'm sitting here, I'm like, it had to stem from somewhere because you are a big words person or a scenario or a situation or something happened.
I do not have, I don't even have a way. And I look back and it gives me, wow, that is it. Like, I look back at because I went to Warren County Middle. Like, my parents moved us from New York to Henderson, y'all. Like, why would you do that? And then
culture shock.
Yes. And then we went from Henderson, my middle school. My mom didn't want us to go to the school that we were near, so we went to Warren County. And I had a group of friends in middle school.
I'm sorry, I gotta do a Christmas. Dang, I'm good.
So stupid. I had a group of friends in school. And I see a group of them still hanging strong. I see Kathy, I see Tamika, it's a group of them, like, and we all, Leslie, like, everybody. And the crazy part is, it makes me kind of like, oh man, Vanessa, like, you remember all of them? Like, all of us, we were a good group. And then there was Jessica. And we had a friendship, but we had ours together. And she was the first friend I invested in that we did one-on-ones with all the time. We spent it at each other's houses. We all of this, right? And then all of a sudden she's gone. And like with them, I look back and they're still strong from middle school.
Wow.
From middle school, they do trips together. And it reminds me, when I look at it, it makes me reflect back to, where is she? And I'm like, whoa. So I didn't think about that because I try to prove it because I didn't get a chance to
with her.
Maybe that's it. Like, I did not get a chance to with her. And so, like, maybe it could have been something small. Or maybe we really just don't align anymore, and that's okay. But I would have had that closure, and I didn't get that. And so maybe that is why I
overexert for other
because
people.
I'm trying to prove, because with her and I, it wasn't anything about buying anything. We were in middle school, like, we were gonna buy each other. But it wasn't anything like that. But we did show up. Like when I said, she was through, Isaiah was born. She was at the house. I got pictures with her holding him. Like, all of that. And then the funny part is, when you lose something, God replaces it.
Wow.
And then I get Lauren. Who, remember, I always said Jessica reminds me so much of Lauren. Reminds me so, like, their mannerisms. So, and I've known Lauren longer than when Jessica was gone, but high school I met Lauren, and Lauren is my Ebony. Let's think that through. She was that.
I love
she
Lauren.
was my calm.
So calm.
She was my calm. Where in high school, I had Sharia that was like, let's go. What they do? Who said whatever? I had Tiffany. I had Keisha Green. That was our group. And then I had my guys. I had Jermaine and Brandon and Herman. And then there was Mark. And then sometimes there was TJ. And like, we had our group. But I didn't have to do that with them. I didn't have to fight with that with them. They showed up, even if I didn't want them there. They bust up in the house. They didn't even leave. Like, how many times Herman fell asleep on the couch? We had to wake him up. So I didn't have to do that. And then a few of those relationships, actually it's only a few. But with all those people I just named, there's a couple I don't really talk to anymore. But the other ones, I could call them right now. And it would be no distance. And we haven't spoken in weeks. I could go to Georgia right now. Harmon, like, you there? Let's go. Where you at? I need to see you. That kind of thing. But with her, I never got the closure. And that might really be where, y'all, I had a breakthrough. I need to tell my therapist, I'll give you my copay this time. I'm going to say, Annette, girl, I had a breakthrough. I figured out where that came from. So do I get my chip then? Now that I know, since I'm aware. Okay.
That's amazing.
But it's hard. But the hard part is not getting stuck when you can't explain or you can't get closure. Closure is lots of things. It doesn't necessarily mean an explanation. But when you can't receive closure to something, how it can follow you through your life, and then you start creating these patterns and you don't know where they came from. Lord knows I never thought it came from that, but I was trying to figure out, where did it come from?
Yeah,
because it's not in my family.
People don't understand things that happen in your life. I'm telling you, with being in therapy for years, it stems from somewhere. You know, some people feel like, you know, they pop off because they never had a voice before. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's reasons behind everything that you do, and it stems from somewhere of why you are the way you are. Like, why do I have to pop off so much? Like, I never feel heard, or I never felt seen because of this, and this, you know, or why do I don't like people or being around people? It's because people never showed up. Like, people have these traumas and different things that go on within them, and they don't realize, well, I had a good family, I had this. And that's great, but what happened around you, or what was the scenario? And that's what I want the people that's watching. If you have things that are in your life and you're trying to understand where it stemmed from, look at like scenarios or situations. Think about events, and I'm guaranteed you can figure out where this trauma or where it has started from, or why you are the way that you are. And I learned that in therapy. I'm not certified, but I'm gonna charge Ebony after this. But that's good that you had got a breakthrough to really know where that came from.
Like, my brain is like, wow. Because, and it makes sense why.
And then I don't with other situations.
It's friend. Like, I do that in friend world only, not family. I do that in friend world. Like, or I try, like, I was one that, like, I listen, like you said, I'm a words person, so I listen to people, and I hear what they like, and I hear the things. So, like, I can go, okay, if I, you know, this little thing, they might like that.
They might like that.
Okay, what about this? And, you know, I do things like that, and then I flip it, and I'm like, would they do that for me? Or, you know, things of that sort. And I go back and forth with things in my head. So I have like a whole conversation sometimes with somebody that I didn't really have, but I had it in my head. And I think that I tried to have that resolved with losing that relationship. And I don't know, maybe something happened in her world that was so loud that she couldn't process, and she had to, and so it had nothing to do with me, but it had everything to do with her. And maybe she misses me.
Yeah.
I lost relationships, and not just females, even male relationships that were so close. And I'm like, all we need to do is, we could have a conversation today and we will be cool. We will be fine, because I'm not one. God forgave me. Yeah. God forgave me. I'm not going to hold a grudge against you. Not in that way. Like, and even if we don't, you can't really ever go back to the way things were. You either get better or it's okay. You know, it's okay. But even if it's never that, the fact that you could have the conversation is good. And so for me, that's probably why I'm so big on conversation. I want to make sure you understand. I want to make sure you really get it. Even if you choose to walk away, I want to make sure you understand.
Oh, that's me. I'm going to let you know where I'm cutting you off. We're going to have a conversation about it, and then I'm going to say, you know, we have to let this go. Unless you do something blatantly. Like, you should know why you're getting cut off. Then we don't have to have a conversation. But if it's a meaningful friendship or something, and our season is up, or something has happened, we're going to have a conversation about it. And I'm going to let you know. But some people don't do that. Some people run from situations. Some people is just like, I don't owe them a conversation. And some people shut off. I know I had a problem with that in the past. When my world is going crazy or something has happened, I don't want to be bothered with nobody. And I had to realize, like, it's not, and then people have to understand, it's not a self-reflection of you sometimes. Sometimes
and
that person is going through.
That was the thing. I took it personal. So there's this, I think it's like a, what is it called? She's not rapping. She's doing almost like spoken word.
Oh yeah, like the confidence.
Her name is Tony Jones, and she has 2 songs on one of her older albums. One is called "Take Up Space," and then the other one is "Energy Budget." And I don't remember which one it is because I listened to both of them. But she says cutoffs are not personal; they're spiritual. And I'm like, okay. Sometimes my cutoffs aren't personal, you know, and that could be the other person, you know, saying, nope, I know I can't carry you, because we talked about in the last episode, luggage. you're heavy, and I can't carry that with all that I am already carrying. And so I realized that I was weighing myself down too by trying to overextend myself and try to convince you. Like, I was going to stand here as if we were in a court case and you were the jury, and I was presenting my case to you so that you understand and you choose to plead on my, if I am the attorney that is,
so they can say not guilty.
Yes. Like, if I was a prosecuting attorney or the defense attorney, he was going to choose my side. And I was like, I'm on the defense. Like, I'm defending me. I'm defending my character. I'm defending my honor, who I am as a person. I know what I bring. And I think that was the big piece. Wow. Because I never thought about that. I'm like, all I know is my family is I tell my mama they're a bunch of thugs. My sisters from Brooklyn, New York, and they still to this day bold. If they don't agree, they ain't gonna agree. They don't even care, and they're gonna let you know how they feel. Even if you don't agree, oh well. And they're not gonna explain. And if they need to let you go, they do it. And so to me, that wasn't it. And then again, family wise, I mean, we have a small family. My mom, my dad, my sister, you know, but we show up for each other. They say I'm the kid that I hold on by a thread. Like, they claim I could be hanging off on a cliff and I'm holding on with like the floss string before I say I need help. I'm working on it. Like, I'm working on communicating. I have gotten better. Don't look at me, producer that way. But that was a breakthrough. Okay.
I'm so proud of you.
I don't have no points.
But I would say, first acknowledge it, like you said, admit it to yourself. Like, I am a people pleaser. See where it stemmed from, and then use that to really get yourself to the next level of not being that type of person. And why do you do the things that you do? I think once you take that approach, then you can start to heal, you can start to be better, and you can start to see, like, okay, let me back up. I'm doing too much in this situation. I don't have to over-explain myself. I don't have to overextend myself. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say I'm tired. It's okay to say that I can't go. I'm just not mentally drained today. So you have to say those things and understand that it's okay to be authentically you.
Child, I had even realized that in my marriage. I can be, yes, you're submissive to your husband, and all of that, but
I'm very submissive to my husband.
She's married to the Lord.
Yeah. That's it. Being the Lord.
But I had to realize too that there were times that we had some challenging times. And instead of me talking about it, because I wanted to cover and protect how he felt or how he was seen, I wanted it to appear a certain way. I didn't say anything. And that's the sense of pleasing as well, because now you're damaging yourself because of what you're carrying. And even if I didn't feel like I could tell a person, I could have started therapy a long time ago to try to work through some of the stuff. And in that way, I realized, oh girl, you're not just doing it so I was doing it in the relationships that were additions to me, not necessarily the ones I was born into. I was doing it to relationships that were adding, because of rejection, they could go away. What does that look like if they go away? How does your world change if they leave? What will your new normal look like? And that can be scary because...
So let me do all I can to keep them around.
Yes, even if it is killing me. Even if it's killing me. There are times, like Travis could talk about it too. He's mentioned before, like when he's spoken about some of the seasons that we went in, and it was hard, and especially in the beginning. And so when it comes down to, getting married and then having a blended family, opinions of people around you are heavy anyway. And then when you come into it and your family is not your family, but the outside that are extensions of your family, they have opinions. And so I had to be mindful of how I shared what I shared, so that I didn't affect him, so that his relationship with his daughter wasn't affected. And then the relationship with his daughter wasn't affected by the relationship with her mom, because those two are going back and forth about her. So like, I had all of these things and I was holding it in, pleasing them, but it was uncomfortable. and I chose not to. So I guess my takeaway would be, yes, the acknowledging it, but then after you acknowledge, you got to do something with it. So putting steps into place, and if this is something that's not common for you, then you have to include someone else that is knowledgeable about it, and that won't be in their feelings while they're explaining it. So you need somebody impartial so that they can help you create a space where you can go off to if you need to when you're thinking about pleasing something and it's giving you a level of anxiety. Like my therapist said, what works for you? I said, I like to float. And she's like, what does that mean? I said, I like to float on my back in the water, like I'm in a pool. And she said, okay, so every time you feel anxious, lay on your back. Act like you're in the water. Feel the water going through your hair, your fingers, your body. You can't float if you're heavy. You gotta feel light. You gotta relax. And so I go through all of that. And so now that's why I got my chip yet. I'm working on that part. I am moving in that space because I've acknowledged it. I guess I just found out where it came from. I knew it was rejection. Like, that's the thing. I knew it was rejection. I just couldn't figure out where the rejection started until talking it through.
Wow.
You're not getting it.
I'm just happy, like, that you figured it out, because sometimes it's just hard to, like, where did this come from? Like, why am I acting like this? Why am I doing this? Like, you don't understand where things come from until you sit. That's why I'm a firm believer of meditating, really thinking.
That's crazy. I'm sorry. I won't interrupt you.
But meditating and thinking about your life and the things that transpired and why you do the things that you do, or why I operate like this, or why am I affected by this? Why did this bother me so much when they said this? And you start to think about those things and you're like, oh, that's where that came from. That happened. So I didn't carry this into my adulthood and with me. And I need to learn how to let it go. So.
This might have been a little bit heavy today.
A little bit too heavy.
It's okay. I feel lighter, and I feel like, wow. Like, that's the best I can say is wow. Like, because when you know something, and I knew it was rejection. I just couldn't figure out where was I rejected. And it wasn't even that she did something to me. It was, I didn't get a chance to defend myself. Or I didn't get a chance to have the conversation or the closure.
You got to go deeper into that rejection. That's I think we both deal with that.
Okay, y'all. I guess we're done today.
Yes.
Did we laugh today? Or did we just say heavy on the lesson? Girl, she done made me cry. My producer sister had to go get me a tissue.
This was good, though. I really hope that if you're watching, that you understand that it's okay, that you're going through the things that you're going through, that you acknowledge it, that you look at the things of your past and the different things that you've been through, and that you can get past it once you figure out what it is. And so, well, sis, you got through it. You talked about it. And now you can move forward.
Put that stuff in place.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be okay with not getting closure.
It sucks though. I don't like closure.
I'm like, oh well.
And that's not me. I need it. Again, what did I say in the last episode? You don't need everything that you think you need. So I'm learning that, and I guess I found that out. But I guess we are done for the day because we're going out. Where we going to? A speakeasy?
We're going to Speakeasy for some live music and some ambiance and
some what?
Some ambiance.
It's a B.
So whatever, y'all know what I mean. It's unscripted.
I hope you got to spell wrong.
I'm gonna do this at the table.
No, you're not.
Oh no, I'm gonna do this.
Wait, we switching it up. Come for the laughs.
Stay for the lessons.
Because becoming...
It's unscripted. Start over.
Okay. Come for the laughs.
Stay for the lessons.
Because becoming your best self is better unscripted. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Unscripted Push. Here's a question for you. How will you live unscripted this week? Catch you next time.